The pain of an attack lingers in a small college town where 3 people were murdered Friday night and 13 others were injured. Students at Santa Barbara City College came together last night to light candles as they mourn for the victims and ask why. It seemed to be a random attack. People shot, wounded, and killed just walking on the street. But now we know it was not random. It was a planned attack committed by a young man who was almost found out nearly a month ago. The shooter is 22-year-old Elliot Rodger, a student at the college and a son of a Hollywood director. Rodger led police on a chase through the city for 10 minutes Friday night as he fired off at random targets before crashing his BMW and then taking his own life. There were documents left behind detailing each moment weeks in advance, including a diary where Rodgers writes he was frightened when police arrived at his home on April 30th to conduct a welfare check. His family is now admitting Rodger had a history with Asperger's syndrome.
This country, this world needs to address mental illness and the ramifications from not recognizing these illnesses.
Asperger's syndrome is a form of autism. Those diagnosed with the condition are often described as being socially awkward. It's the same condition that Sandy Hook Elementary shooter Adam Lanza suffered from. But should mental illness even be a factor when trying to understand why shootings like this happened? Psychologist Dr. Josh Claypo often helps to make sense of these kind of things and tragedies for us. In this case, Claypo has a connection to this story. He spent a year of undergrad at UC Santa Barbara, about 10 minutes away from where these shootings took place. Nick Gulas joins us now in the newsroom, and he spoke with Dr. Claypo about this area and some of those lingering questions remaining in the aftermath of another mass shooting.
Lee, Dr. Claypo tells me the family and law enforcement seem to have followed all the right steps when it came to dealing with the threats and mental health of the shooter. But this tragedy still happened. And with that in mind, Claypo wonders if there are flaws in the current system.
The system didn't work. Whose fault it was, I don't think we can point fingers, but I do think we can look at the system and say it did not work.
Joshua Claypo is referring to the steps taken prior to Friday night's mass shooting near Isla Vista, California. The family of the alleged shooter asked for a wellness check after concerns arose from a string of YouTube videos posted with threats of mass murder and suicide.
This is the biggest challenge. We have so much information that's being posted on the internet now that it does become difficult to figure out what's real and what's not real.
And Claypo thinks that may be the key message in this situation for everyone, from law enforcement to parents and students.
When you see something like a video that was posted, and if you think that it's something that is not right, it is time for us to all start heightening our concern and to tell other people, to let other people know, and to not say things like it was just a video.
Dr. Claypo says that we need to be more vigilant about online threats, Nick, but where should the responsibility of monitoring social media fall?
Well, we posed that question to people on the streets of Birmingham. We also asked if responsibility falls on the government. Would you feel like your freedom was being infringed upon through their monitoring? And here are some of the answers that we got.
I think the website has an obligation. I can see how they might have things slip by them, especially something like YouTube that's a big website. The police definitely should take action as soon as they're made aware of the threat.
Government, I take total responsibility for that. You know, a person should be not allowed to walk around the street and he can cause bodily harm to someone. I think it'd be better if they monitor. Because I know somebody has to.
Maybe get in touch with the website owners and even in touch with the police department to let them be aware that this person could have a criminal record.
It'll benefit my freedom because I know what's coming before it comes.
I think we have an obligation as well to look out for stuff like that and make law enforcement aware.
Somebody makes a threat to harm any individual anywhere in the world, and particularly on a web where everybody in the world can read it, you know, online, then I think it should be taken seriously. I think the first time is good enough.
If it's a specific threat, that's against the law and that should be dealt with.
The overwhelming theme we got from most people is that safety comes first, and if that means giving up some online freedoms, that's a price worth paying. Live in the newsroom, Nick Gulas, WIAT 42 News, coverage you can count on.